I scored 699 on the college entrance exam. Yet, I applied for a score review tips. The full score for China's college entrance examination, GAO, is 750 points. Because in my previous life, after the results came out, my best friend Xinyu scored only 2 points lower than me. Crying, she said the system must have made a mistake, and begged me to go with her to the Education Bureau to file an appeal. I helped her write the materials, find teachers, and handle the procedures. 3 days later, her score hadn't changed, but my exam paper was reported for abnormal handwriting, and the case file was sent for investigation. By the time my suspicion was cleared, the college application deadline had already passed. Xinyu, carrying the title of second place in the entire school, went off to a prestigious university, while I could only slip down the rankings into a third-tier college. Her father even mocked me in the parents' group chat. Some people may have high scores, but it's useless. If your intentions are bad, you'll eventually crash and burn. My mom was so angered she had to be hospitalized, and my family's little shop was boycotted by my classmates' parents. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day the exam scores were released. Xinyu rushed over in tears. 1. Will you go file an appeal with me? I directly turned on the recording. If you suspect someone, go prove it yourself. Bestie isn't all-powerful. 1. The moment the score page popped up, the living room was terrifyingly quiet. Total score 699. Chinese 132. Math 145. English 142. Science 280. My mom covered her mouth, and the tears fell first. The ash from the cigarette in my dad's hand fell onto his pants, and it burned him so hard he jolted. Yet he grinned. Xiaoan China in the bag. Right. The wind chime at the entrance of the little store rang once. Yi rushed in, her face as pale as paper, her eyes red enough to be frightening. She was clutching her phone in her hand. The screen still lit. 697, only 2 points lower than me in my previous life. It was this very number that dragged my family into the mud. Xinyu rushed over and grabbed my hand. 1. There must be some mistake. She was crying so hard she could barely breathe. My estimated score was clearly higher than yours. How could it end up lower? Will you go with me to the Education Bureau to appeal? You're good at writing, so help me draft the materials. The smile on my mom's face froze. A few classmates who had come to buy popsicles were standing at the door. And when they heard this, the look in their eyes changed at once. I slowly withdrew my hand and tapped the voice recorder on my phone. Whoever you suspect, go prove it yourself. A close friend isn't all-powerful. The recording light turned red. Xinyu froze. 1-1. What do you mean? Literally. I put the phone on the table and turned the volume all the way up. If you think the system made a mistake, you can file for a review yourself. If you think someone else has a problem, you can report it under your real name. Don't drag me in to testify. Don't ask me to write it for you. And don't make me run around with you. Xinyu's tears hung on her face as if she had been slapped in front of everyone. I just want you to stay with me. The students at the doorway began whispering among themselves. Shenzia is way too cold-blooded. Xinyu is already crying like this. My mom stood up and awkwardly rubbed her apron. Juju. Xiaoan was probably just too happy and said something bluntly. Don't take it to heart. Xinyu immediately started crying even harder. Auntie, I'm not blaming 1-1. I'm just feeling too upset. She said it softly, but everyone at the door heard it. My dad frowned. Yo-yo, now that the results are out, make sure you carefully fill out your college applications. Even if you request a review, they can only check for missing entries or incorrect additions. Subjective questions won't be regraded. Xinyu raised her head and looked at my dad. Uncle, I know your family's one did well on the exam, so of course you don't want me to check. The small shop instantly fell silent. My mom's face turned pale. That line, I don't want you to look into it, was like a nail, pinning me back to my previous life back then. I was soft-hearted and handled all the procedures for her. 3 days later, my exam paper was reported for having abnormal handwriting. The reason for the report was written clearly and plainly. Shenzia's handwriting in the college entrance examination Chinese essay differed significantly from that in her usual essays. suggesting possible impersonation or other violations. It was eventually proven to be a misunderstanding, but the application deadline had already passed. Shin Yu ended up attending Peking University School of Medicine. I went to a third-rate university. My mom held my hand on her hospital bed and asked, "Xian, who exactly did we offend?" "By the shelves." Shin Yu was still crying. "Wan, are you afraid that after I find out, I'll end up surpassing you?" I picked up the screenshot of the grades on the table and handed it to her. "Check it." Shin Yu's eyes lit up. The next second, I said, "But from now on, I'll record every word you say." The grievance on her face froze. Suddenly, Shin father's voice came from outside the door. "Recording. Girl from the Shin family. Are you treating us like thieves?" "Father." Shin was wearing a white shirt and carrying a briefcase, standing at the doorway with a dark, grim face. The wind chimes on the shelf were still swaying. He stared at the flashing red dot on my phone and reached out to take it. Two. My dad was one step faster than him and pressed down on the desktop. "Mr. Chun, it's the child's phone. Don't get physical." Father Chin sneered. "Old Shun, our two families have been neighbors for so many years. My daughter came to her friends because she was wronged, and this is how you treat her." Shin Yu hid behind him, her shoulders shaking as she cried, "Dad, I'm fine. It's my fault. I shouldn't have come to disturb Wan." As soon as those words fell, the looks from the classmates at the door toward me became even nastier. Someone immediately picked up their phone and started filming. I turned the recording interface toward the camera. "Filming is fine, but no editing." The classmate's hand shook. Father Q narrowed his eyes. Not very old, but already full of schemes. My mom's lips trembled with anger. "Lachin, how can you say that about the child? Am I wrong?" Father Q raised his voice. "My daughter's 697 wasn't picked up off the street either. Now she suspects there was an error in the score. And as a classmate, Shenzia could have chosen not to help, but instead she recorded her and threatened her. Your family got first place, and you're still this afraid of someone reviewing it." More and more people gathered to watch the commotion. The owner of the fruit shop next door poked her head out. Well, if you got first place, why are you so afraid of being checked?" My mom gripped the counter, her knuckles turning white. In my previous life, it had also started with this sentence. First came the veiled remarks in the parents' group. Then the other students' parents stopped coming to my house to buy things. At last, someone cornered my mom at the shop and cursed her, saying she had raised a cheating daughter. A hand pressed on my shoulder. My dad pulled me back a step. "Mr. Chun, a review is your right, and Zaiwan has no obligation to accompany you." Father Q looked at my dad and smiled. "Good. Very good." He took out his phone and directly opened the parents' group voice chat. "Parents, this is Chin Yu's father. Tonight was score-checking night. My Yu got 697, and Shin Jayawan got 699. Yu wanted to apply for a review and went to discuss it with Shinjia, but the Shin family not only refused to help, they even started recording to guard against her. My mom hurried forward. "Don't talk nonsense." Chin's father dodged her and continued, "I just want to ask, do children still have real friends these days? Or is it that some scores can't stand up to scrutiny?" The voice message was sent out. My phone immediately started vibrating. The class group exploded. "What do you mean? Is there something wrong with Shenzia? Dare to mess around with college entrance exam scores? Shin Yu usually isn't any worse than her. Right? Just 2 points. It really is a bit suspicious." Messages kept coming one after another. Shin Yu lowered her head, but the corners of her mouth twitched slightly. Soon she suppressed it again. "Dad, stop saying that. Wan will be upset." I stared at her. "Shin Yu, you just said your estimated score was higher than mine. Do you have a record of that estimate?" She froze. Shin's father spoke for her. Who would deliberately keep a record of something like estimated scores? I did. I opened the photo album. The day before the score release, the homeroom teacher asked the whole class to send him their estimated score sheets so he could help estimate our college preferences. I took a screenshot and saved it. It was clearly displayed in the group chat. My estimated score was between 695 and 705. Shin Yu estimated her score to be between 680 and 690. The air froze for half a second. The students at the door changed expression. Shin Yu hurriedly said, "I later checked the answers again." "Where's the record?" I didn't take a screenshot." Father Q's expression darkened. "Shenziawan, are you interrogating a criminal?" "No. I sent the screenshot into the class group chat. I'm just protecting myself." The group chat fell silent for a few seconds. Then someone said, "Didn't Shin Yu estimate her score to be over 680? But she said it was higher than Shenzha 9 minutes and 47 seconds. 440 fainting." Just as I was about to speak, Shin Yu's father had already picked her up and glared back at me fiercely. "If anything happens to my daughter, your family will pay for it." As he rushed out of the convenience store, Shin Yu's drooping fingers twitched slightly. 3. The ambulance didn't come. Shin's father drove Shin Yu to the community hospital. Half an hour later, the parents' group chat rang again. Shin's father sent a photo of the forward drip. Shin Yu lay on the hospital bed, her face pale, with a piece of tape on the back of her hand. There was only one sentence in the caption. "The child has suffered an emotional breakdown, and the doctor recommends rest and recovery. I hope certain families will stop stimulating her." Someone immediately chimed in the group chat. "The kids are already under a lot of pressure after the exam. And Shenzia is being way too aggressive. Is the top scorer really that small-minded? Rechecking the paper doesn't affect her. So why is she so afraid?" My mom looked at her phone, and her eyes slowly turned red. "Xian, why don't you send Yu a message? Don't let things between you two turn sour." That familiar line came again. In my previous life, she had said the same thing. So I lowered my head and apologized, enduring my grievances as I went to the hospital to see Shin Yu. Shin Yu lay on the hospital bed holding my hand and crying. The next day, the complaint letter arrived at the admissions office. This time, I handed my phone to my mom. "Mom, look carefully. It's not that I caused a falling out. They're the ones who want to drag me down." My mom froze. My dad took the phone and scrolled to the top of the group messages. "Don't reply." His voice was deep. "Whoever comes to buy things tonight, Sawa Zuzuo. If anyone asks about the results, just say the child is tired and doesn't want to talk." As soon as the words left her mouth, a middle-aged woman came in through the door. It was Xiaoming's mother. From our class, Xia Ming usually ranked around 20th in the grade, but he scored 621 on the exam. Shirao's mother placed a carton of milk on the counter and gave a sarcastic smile. "Oh, the top scholar's family even runs a shop. When you rise to great success in the future, don't forget us ordinary folks." My mom managed a forced smile. "It's all thanks to the child's own efforts." Mrs. Xiao let out a snort. "Effort is certainly important, but the approach matters, too." My dad's face darkened. "What do you mean, Mrs.?" Xiao raised her phone. "It's already all over the group chat." When Shin Yu went for rechecking, Shenzia reacted so strongly. Who wouldn't overthink it? The college entrance exam is such a strict matter. True gold fears no fire. I walked up to the counter. "Auntie, are you buying something?" Mother Xiao was stunned. "Yes." "Then pay." Her expression changed. "How can you talk like that? Child, if you're not buying, please leave." 2 more parents came in by the shelves, and hearing this immediately frowned. "Is getting a high score something to brag about?" No wonder Shin Yu got so angry she fell ill. My dad reached out and turned off the little fan beside the cash register. "Everyone, you're welcome to buy things here. But if you're going to spread rumors, get out." "Mother," Xiao sneered and smashed the milk onto the ground. The box cracked open, and the milk spilled all over the floor. "Who would want to buy anything from your family?" She turned and left, walked to the doorway, then turned back to take a photo. "Everyone, take a look at the service attitude of the top scholar's family." My mom crouched down to wipe the floor just as her hand touched the milk stain. I helped her back up. "Don't wipe it." I picked up my phone and took a picture of the milk on the floor. Damaged goods are to be compensated at the price. Mother Xiao laughed in anger. "Compensate you for this little bit of lousy milk? I won't compensate you. I'm calling the police." The smile on her face froze. The onlookers also fell silent. I had just dialed 110 when Shin Yu's call came in. Her name flashed on the screen. I turned on speakerphone. On the other end of the line, her voice was weak. Juan, can you stop going after my parents? At the entrance of the little store, everyone heard it. I looked at the milk on the ground. Chiyu, with which eye did you see me targeting your parents? She choked up, and Shurao sent me a video. You asked her to pay compensation, and even said you'd call the police. Juan, we're all parents of classmates here. If you do this, it'll really make things very difficult for me. Mrs. Xiao immediately perked up. Did you hear that? Yu even said something. I asked. So, I should thank her for smashing my things at home. Silence came from the other end of the phone. Soon, Shin Yu said through tears. I didn't mean that. I just think that now that you scored 699, you've already won. Why won't you let me go? Someone at the door sucked in a breath. Those words were harsher than any accusation. She had cast herself as the loser. Made me look like an overbearing victor. I held the phone tightly, my fingertips cold. The voice of the police dispatcher came through on the other end. Hello. How can I help you? For a mother. Xiao panicked. Are you really calling the police? I told the person on the phone the address. Someone is deliberately damaging goods in my store and refusing to compensate. They're now gathering a crowd and blocking the place. Several parents at the door immediately stepped back. Mother Xiao pointed at me. Shenzia Wan, don't try to pin this on me. At the other end of the phone, Qin Yu grew anxious. Wan, don't do this. If this gets blown up, it won't be good for anyone. It's already blown up. I hung up the phone. 10 minutes later, the local police officer arrived. The milk on the floor hasn't been wiped up yet. The surveillance footage was pulled up, and Zhao's mother's action of spilling the milk was crystal clear. Her face flushed red, then turned pale, and in the end she scanned the payment code, 28 yuan, and 80 fun before leaving. She said through gritted teeth, from now on, whoever wants to enter the Shen family can enter. My mom stood behind the counter, holding back tears again. And again, that night, the convenience store's business was cut in half. Parents who usually come to buy cigarettes or water would detour around us. Someone stopped at the entrance, then was pulled away by a companion. Don't buy here anymore. It's bad luck. Those 2 words drilled into my mom's ears. She turned and went into the back room. The moment the curtain fell, I heard a stifled sob. My dad sat by the counter holding a cigarette for a long time without lighting it. Xiaoan, this isn't your fault. But his voice had gone hoarser. At midnight, homeroom teacher Mr. Zhao called Shenzia. Are you free right now? I sat up straight. Convenient. The other end of the phone was very noisy. Teacher Zhao sighed. Shin Yuyu's parent contacted the grade director and said that you publicly posted her estimated score screenshot in the group, causing her to lose control of her emotions. The school hopes you'll delete the screenshot and then post an explanation to avoid the spread of public opinion. I asked, what does that mean? Teacher Zhao paused for a moment. Just say that you don't mean anything else, and you hope everyone won't misunderstand Chinyu. So, who's going to clear my name and say I have no problem? The other end of the phone went quiet. Teacher Zhao lowered his voice. Xian, I know you feel wronged, but your scores are high, and your target schools are good. At a time like this, don't make trouble. The review period and the application period are both very sensitive, and the school is also afraid of any impact. In my previous life, I was afraid of causing trouble, afraid of affecting the teacher, afraid of affecting the school, afraid of affecting Chin Yu's reputation. In the end, all the consequences fell on my family. I gripped my phone tightly. Teacher Zhao, if the school requires me to delete it, I need a written notice. Teacher Zhao was stunned. You child. Someone in the group questioned my grades, and Chin Yu's father publicly said my score couldn't stand scrutiny. The screenshot is factual evidence. If I delete it, and someone keeps spreading rumors later, who's responsible? Teacher Zhao did not reply. A few seconds later, he said, come to the school tomorrow morning. The grade director wants to talk to you. The call ended. My dad looked at me. I'll go with you. I shook my head. You watch the shop. My mom came out from the back room, her eyes still red. Xian, Mom will stay with you. My phone suddenly vibrated again. In the class group chat, Chin, Father sent a new voice message. I have officially applied for a review of the grades, and I will also report to the school the issue of a certain student publicly spreading my daughter's private information and causing her psychological harm. Good grades do not mean good character. The truth will speak for itself. Immediately after, someone sent a screenshot. The anonymous forum title was glaringly eye-catching. The top scorer in this city's college entrance exam seems guilty, and allegedly made the second-place finisher cry. In the post, the signboard photo of my family's little shop was placed at the very top. In the photo, my mom was lowering her head, wiping away tears. My mom reached out to take the phone. Another new comment popped up on the screen. Would you dare want a child raised in a family like that, no matter how high their grades are? 5. The next morning, quite a few cars were parked at the school entrance. After the results came out, it should have been the liveliest and most joyful day. The electronic screen at the school gate was playing congratulatory news on a loop. Warm congratulations to our school's student Shenzia for scoring 699 on the college entrance examination. But below the screen, several parents saw me and immediately stopped talking. Someone whispered, "It's her." My mom was clutching my hand, her palm slick with sweat. In the grade director's office, Chin's father was already seated. Chin Yu was leaning against the sofa, her face even paler than yesterday when she saw me. Tears immediately welled up in her eyes. 1-1. I really didn't expect things to turn out like this. Father Q slapped a printed document onto the table. Director Wang, take a look. This is the screenshot Shenzia posted in the group. She publicly revealed my daughter's estimated score without permission, causing her classmates to gossip about her. Last night, she cried until her heart rhythm became irregular. Director Wang pushed up his glasses. Shenzia 1. The teacher understands that you want to clear things up, but the way you handled it was indeed inappropriate. I looked down at the desk in that document. Only the part where I sent the screenshot was included. The voice message in which Chen's father said, "The scores can't stand scrutiny" was not printed. The later chat in the group questioning me was also not printed. I took out my phone. Director. I also brought materials. Jean's father's brow twitched. The recording played from the phone. I just want to ask, do children still have real friends these days? Or is it that some scores can't stand up to scrutiny? Director Wang's expression changed. Chin's father immediately coughed. I was emotionally agitated at the time, and my words were not very precise. The next segment of the recording continued playing. Chin Yu's voice was weak and aggrieved. You scored 699 now. You've already won. So why wouldn't you let me go? The office was so quiet that only the air conditioner could be heard. I placed the printed screenshots on the desk. Director, this is the forum post. This is the photo of my family's storefront. And this is the defamatory content in the comments. This is the surveillance screenshot of Aunt Shirao smashing milk at my house, along with the compensation record. Chin Yu's expression changed slightly. 1-1. I don't know anything about the forum incident. I didn't say you were the one who posted it. She was left speechless. Director Wang flipped through the materials with a stern expression. Principal Chun, the school will verify this matter. The most important thing right now is filling out college application choices. Don't escalate the conflict. Father Q was dissatisfied. Director Wang, what do you mean by that? My daughter was hurt, and the school is just going to brush it off like this. A sudden knock sounded at the door. Teacher Zhao pushed the door open and came in holding a stack of forms. Director, the municipal admissions office just sent out a notice. The deadline for score review applications is 5 p.m. this afternoon, and the review results are expected to be returned within 2 days. Father Q immediately picked up the conversation. We've already applied. Chin Yu looked up at me. 1-1. Aren't you going to apply? Here it comes. In my previous life, she asked the same question. She said, you should apply, too. That way. It's fair. I applied later. My paper was singled out and pulled out separately because there were a few extra words in the application materials that shouldn't have been there. I didn't answer. I just took a form out of my backpack. Director Wang was stunned. You're also applying for a review. I nodded. It's already been submitted. Chin Yu's eyes widened slightly. Chin's father's expression also froze. They thought I was afraid of being investigated. But this time I insist on taking the initiative to investigate. Teacher Zhao took the receipt and saw the submission time on it clearly. 11:52 last night. I said. After checking my scores, I found a dispute and immediately applied for a review. The scope of the review includes mistallying, incorrect tallying, and incorrect entry of scores, and does not involve regrading subjective questions. The process is compliant. Director Wang's expression became complicated when he looked at me. Father Q let out a cold snort. Who knows whether you're just putting on an act? I turned to look at him. Uncle Qin, you just said that the innocent have nothing to fear. Now I've checked it out. What else do you want me to do? Father Q's face turned ashen. Qin Yu suddenly clutched her chest. Dad, I feel awful. Her body tilted toward the sofa. This time, no one rushed over immediately. Teacher Zhao first dialed the school doctor's phone number. Director Wang frowned. Student Yu, if you're feeling unwell, go to the infirmary. Don't argue in the office. Qin Yu's eyelashes trembled, and tears fell. Director, I'm not arguing. I'm just afraid. She looked up at me. 1. Why have you seemed like a different person since yesterday? Just as I was about to speak, my phone vibrated. The review system sent a text message. Your score review application has been accepted. At the same time, Qin Yu's phone also rang. She lowered her head to glance at it, and her face suddenly turned as pale as paper. 6. Teacher Zhao was the closest to her. What's wrong? Qin Yu quickly turned off her phone screen. Nothing. But her movements were too quick, and instead drew everyone's attention. Father Q grew impatient. Yu, what message? Qin Yu bit her lip and said nothing. My heart tightened. In my previous life, the result didn't change after her review. But the report about my exam paper happened the day after the review application was submitted. Could it be that this time it happened earlier? Director Wang's landline suddenly rang. He picked it up, listened for a few words, and his expression darkened. Okay, I understand. After hanging up, he looked at me. Shen Xiaoan, the city admissions office, just called. They received a real name report claiming there are irregularities in the handwriting on your college entrance examination answer sheet. They've asked the school to provide samples of your daily handwriting for verification. My mom shot to her feet. What? Qin Yu's tears froze on her face. Qin's father also froze for a moment. Just for a moment. Then he returned to his cold smile. See, I told you that real gold is not afraid of fire. I stared at Qin's father, who was the real name complainant. Director Wang shook his head. The admissions office will not disclose that to the person being reported. My mom grew anxious. Why are you checking my daughter? You don't even know who reported her. Teacher Zhao immediately said, I have archived all of Zioan's essays and test papers. There's no issue with the handwriting. Director Wang glanced at him. Cooperating with the investigation does not mean there is a problem. I heard this sentence many times in my past life. It does not mean there is a problem. But an investigation will take time. It makes people suspicious when the volunteer system is shut down. I am still proving that I am myself. I place my hand on the table. Director, I request that the school issue a written statement proving that my right to fill out volunteer preferences will not be affected while I am cooperating with the investigation. Director Wang frowned. This is not something the school can decide. Then please have the school contact the admissions office and clarify the investigation deadline. Father Q let out a scoff. You're young, but you sure know how to make demands. I ignored him. I also want all the mock exam papers, essay sheets, and answer sheet scans I completed at school before the college entrance exam, along with an inventory list sealed and signed by both parties, to avoid any missing materials or people taking things out of context. Everyone in the office fell silent. Teacher Zhao was the first to react. I'll go get it. Qin Yu suddenly spoke. 1-1. Did you already know someone would report you? Her voice was soft, but it cut deep. Otherwise, how are you so skilled at this? Father Q immediately chimed in. Exactly. A normal student would have been scared to tears by something like this. Why aren't you panicking at all? I laughed. I don't cry, and that also counts as evidence. Xin Ye's expression stiffened. Director Wang tapped the desk with his pen. Enough. No one is to make unfounded speculations now. Footsteps could be heard outside the door. The principal and a teacher from the academic affairs office came in together. The principal saw the scene in the office, and his expression darkened. The admissions office is asking for the missing materials as soon as possible. Shenzia Wan, your parent is here too. So sign a notice acknowledging your cooperation with the investigation first. A sheet of paper was handed to me. It said to cooperate by providing personal academic materials and to accept necessary questioning. I scanned to the last line. During the investigation period, the school recommends that candidates temporarily refrain from submitting their college applications to avoid any subsequent results affecting admission. I looked up. I'm not signing this line. The principal frowned. This is advice. Advice also affects me. Father Q laughed out loud. Feeling guilty, I pushed the paper back. I can cooperate with the investigation, but I will not accept a delay in submitting my college application choices. The deadline for the GACO application is fixed, and no organization or individual may restrict me from submitting my choices based on an unverified report. The principal's expression darkened. Shenzia, don't treat all your teachers as enemies. My mother stood in front of me. Her voice trembled, but it was clear. Principal, my daughter scored 699. She didn't steal or rob anyone. If you want to investigate, we'll cooperate. But if anyone delays her college applications, I'll fight them to the death. When those words fell, the few teachers crowding outside the office door were all stunned. Shin Yu lowered her head, her fingers gripping the hem of her clothes tightly. Director Wang picked up the pen and crossed out that line. Reprint it. Father Q's expression darkened. The principal glanced at him and said nothing more. The notice was handed over again. I signed my name just as the pen left the paper. Shin Yu's phone rang again. This time the screen lit up, and the caller ID read Su Yanzhou 7. Su Yanzhou was our class study committee member. When the results came out, he scored 688, third in the entire school in my previous life. He was the only one who spoke up for me in the group chat. He said, Shenzian usually writes essays in this handwriting. Don't slander people out of thin air. Then he was mocked by Father Q. Of course, the third-place finisher would hope something happens to the second-place finisher. Later, when I slipped down the rankings, he sent me a lot of information about supplementary admissions for volunteering. But at that time, I was overwhelmed by things at home and didn't reply to any of them. When Shin Yu saw the incoming call, panic flashed across her face for a moment. She hung up immediately. The next second, a message from Su Yanzhou popped up on the screen. I wasn't far away, and I only saw one line of text. I'm not sending the handwriting photo you asked me to find. Shin Yu quickly covered her phone. Shin's father didn't notice. He was still arguing with the principal. My daughter was forced into the state. The school can't just investigate the report. It also needs to deal with Shenzia's public exposure of private information. Director Wang said wearily, the two matters will be handled separately. I looked at Shin Yu. What handwriting photo did you ask Su Yanzhou to look for? The office instantly fell silent. Shin Yu's face went pale. You're looking at my phone. The screen lit up by itself. Father Q was furious. Shenzia Wan, you're even invading privacy. I turned to Director Wang. Director, the report states that the handwriting is abnormal. Now that the words handwriting photo have appeared on Shin Yu's phone, I think it's necessary to have Su Yanzhou come here to explain. Shin Yu suddenly stood up. No need. Her reaction was too strong. Father Q finally realized something was wrong. Yo-yo. Tears fell from Shin Yu's eyes again. I just wanted to help Wan prove her innocence before. So I asked Su Yanzhou to find photos of her usual essays. My mother was shaking with anger. You're helping her prove her innocence. The report had just come in. So why were you looking for photos in advance? Shin Yu shook her head while crying. I didn't do it in advance. I just guessed someone would misunderstand. Wan, this explanation is too flimsy. So flimsy that even teacher frowned. The principal immediately said, call Su Yanzhou over first. 10 minutes later, Su Yanhao was standing at the office door. He was wearing a white short-sleeve shirt and was still holding a college application guide. When he saw me, he froze for a moment. Shin Jiawan, are you okay? Before I could answer, Shin Yu started crying first. Yanzhou quickly explained to everyone. I only wanted to help Wan. Su Yanji's expression turned cold. You asked me to find photos of Shenzhan's essays from 9th grade to senior year, saying you wanted to compare whether her college entrance exam essay had changed. Jean's father's face darkened. What nonsense are you talking about? Su Yanzhou handed the phone to Director Wang. The chat record was complete at 9:40 last night. Xin Yuyu sent a message. You have a file of outstanding class essays. Don't you? Could you find a few photos of Wan's essays from before and send them to me? My dad said her Chinese composition score this time was very high, so we might need proof. Su Yanzhou replied. Proof of what? Xin Yuyu replied 5 minutes later. It's nothing. Don't ask. At 1 o'clock in the morning, she sent another message. If someone says her handwriting is different from before, the photo you have might be useful. Su Yanzhou replied. How do you know someone would say that? Xin Yuyu did not reply again. In the office, even the air conditioning seemed to have stopped. Xin Yuyu's lips trembled. I was just guessing. I looked at her. The report arrived this morning. You guessed the contents of the report last night. Xin's father suddenly stood up. Enough. You're trying to bait me. Su Yanzhou didn't back down. I have one more thing to say. Xin Yuyu looked up, and panic finally appeared in her eyes. Su Yanzhou opened the photo album. At 10:20 last night, I ran into Xin Yuyu's father at the print shop by the school gate. He printed out a few pages of materials, and I saw the title. Father Q's expression changed. You saw it wrong. Su Yanzhou looked at him. The title is Report on the Abnormal Handwriting in Shenzia's College Entrance Exam Answer Sheet. 8. The office exploded. My mom rushed forward. Did you report my daughter? Father Q took half a step back, his face turning livid. Don't slander me, Su Yanzhou said calmly. The print shop has surveillance footage. Director Wang immediately looked at the principal. The principal's face had already turned completely dark. Contact the print shop. Xin Yuyu suddenly clutched her stomach and crouched down. Dad, it hurts this time. Xin's father did not reach out to support her immediately. Sweat broke out on his forehead, and his voice turned stiff. Yo-yo, sit down first. She looked up at him, her eyes filled with shock and fear. In that instant, I suddenly understood Father Q was indeed stupid and vicious. But Xin Yuyu was not completely innocent. She knew the contents of the report. She looked for handwriting photos in advance. At every critical point, she broke down in tears, dragging everyone's attention away from the facts and back to emotions. Half an hour later, the print shop owner came to the school with a security camera screenshot. In the screenshot, Jean's father was standing next to the printer, holding several sheets of paper. Time 10:19 last night, the owner said. He also asked me whether the print log could be deleted. I said the machine clears it automatically, so there was no need to delete anything. Jean's father's face turned ashen. I was just printing something for a friend. The principal asked coldly. Which friend? Father Q gritted his teeth. I can't say it. My mother laughed in anger. You hurt my daughter, and we still can't say anything. Father Q suddenly looked up. I didn't hurt her. I just had reasonable suspicion. He pointed at me. She usually only gets a little over 120 in Chinese, and this time she got 132. Her essay must have scored high. Yu's Chinese scores have always been more consistent than hers. So why is hers so much higher? Teacher Zhao could no longer hold back. Shenzia scored 134 in Chinese on the second mock exam, 130 on the third, and her essays were repeatedly selected as model essays for the grade. Xin Yuyu has kept her Chinese score around 125 consistently, and all of this is on the report cards. Xin's father was left speechless. Xin Yuyu sobbed softly. Dad, why are you doing this? As soon as she said that, everyone looked at her. She was crying pitifully. I only said I was upset. I didn't ask you to report. Wan Chen's father froze. Yo-yo. She shrank back. I really didn't know you would do this. What a neat little act of cutting ties. I almost burst out laughing. It was probably the same in my previous life. Xin's father stepped forward to play the villain. Xin Yuyu hid behind him and played the victim. Once the truth was exposed, she said she didn't know anything. When Father Q was pushed away by his daughter in front of everyone, the flesh on his face twitched, but he still held his ground. It was me who reported it. It has nothing to do with you. The principal took a deep breath. Mr. Chen, do you know that maliciously reporting an examinee can have serious consequences? I had no malicious intent. Father Q stiffened his neck. I just want this investigated, clearly. I pushed the phone over. Then please right now in front of the school tell the admissions office that your report was based on personal speculation, and that you have no direct evidence. Father Q turned to look at me sharply. Why? You indeed have no evidence. He didn't say a word. I continued. You can reasonably suspect it, and the admissions office can also verify it. But at the same time, you publicly hinted in the parents' group that there was something wrong with my scores, which led to my family's shop being surrounded, and my mother being photographed, and the picture spread. Now, it has also been confirmed that the report materials were printed by you. Uncle Chin, either you clear this up or wait for me to call the police and file a lawsuit. Father Chin sneered. Sue, who are you trying to scare? A student like you? My father's voice came from the doorway. She's not threatening you. I turned around. My dad stood at the doorway with a man in a suit behind him. The man handed over a business card. I'm the lawyer retained by Shenzia's family. My surname is Jean's father's expression finally changed. My dad walked over to my mom and held her up. I closed the shop. He said it very softly. Today, let's protect the child first. My mother's tears welled up all at once. Attorney placed the materials on the table. At present, the evidence includes group chat voice messages, forum screenshots, in-store surveillance footage, and testimony from the print shop. If Mr. Chin refuses to clarify the matter, we will submit materials to the public security authorities on grounds related to defamation and provoking trouble. Chin's father still refused to back down. I am reporting as a citizen's right. Attorneys nodded. The premise is that it must be based on facts, and you must not fabricate or spread falsehoods. You may report it, but you cannot publicly steer public opinion to attack a minor without evidence. In the office, Shin Yuyu's sobbing grew quieter and quieter. The principal contacted the admissions office on the spot. The call was put on speakerphone. After Director Wang explained the situation, the other party replied, "The investigation will continue as usual. If the informant admits there is no solid evidence, ask the school to submit a supplementary statement. The candidate's application will remain unaffected." At those words, my mother's legs went weak. I caught her. Father Q's face turned pale. Then green lawyer's son pushed the paper and pen in front of him. "Please write." Father Q stared at me fixedly. Shin Yu suddenly grabbed his sleeve. "Dad, forget it. Stop making a scene." Her voice was very soft. "I don't want everyone to think we can't accept losing." Jean's father's hand trembled slightly. Those words were more effective than any coercion. He finally picked up the pen. As soon as the pen tip touched the paper, someone suddenly shouted outside the office door. "The forum's new post has been updated again." 9. The new post title was even more ruthless. Plot twist. The second-place student's father filed a real name report, while the top scorer brought in a lawyer to get the complaint withdrawn. The photo was taken secretly through the crack in the office door. My mother, attorney, and I were standing together. Shin Yu was crouching by the sofa crying. The angle was so devious it looked like I had brought people to surround and block her. The principal's face changed drastically. Who took the photo? The several students and parents outside the door immediately dispersed. Teacher Zhao rushed out not long after. They brought back a girl. Xiaoying's older cousin, just in her second year of high school, had come with her parents today to ask about college application choices. The post backend was still open on her phone at first. She flatly denied it. "I just forwarded it." Attorney asked, "Who gave you the original image?" The girl bit her lip and said nothing. Director Wang said in a grave voice, "You're not a graduate of this school, but you secretly filmed and spread it on campus. The school will contact your parents." The girl panicked. "Aunt Shirao told me to post it." Mother Xiao was called over again. As soon as she walked in and saw Chin's father, she felt much more confident. "I just can't stand you bullying Yu. My mother was shaking with anger. "You smashed things in my house yesterday, secretly filmed my daughter today, and you still say we're the ones bullying people. Mrs. Xiao rolled her eyes. Who told your family to act so inhumanly? Yu is such a good kid, and you've driven her to the point of almost becoming depressed. Qin Yu kept her head down and did not retort. I looked at her. Qin Yu, tell her now, did I force you? Qin Yu raised her tearful eyes. And Xiao is only concerned about me. She may have misunderstood with a single word. Misunderstanding. All the blame was pushed away. Mother Xiao was immediately moved. Yo-yo, you're just too kind. Su Yanhao sneered. So kind that you knew the contents of the report in advance. Qin Yu's face turned pale. Mama Zhao froze. What report content? In the office. The principal finally couldn't hold back anymore. He slapped the materials on the table. Everyone quiet. That shout stunned everyone. The principal looked at Chen's father. Mr. Chen, this matter has now seriously affected the school's reputation and the rights and interests of the examinees. Either you clarify this immediately, or we will truthfully report to the education authorities that you made an unsubstantiated accusation and stirred up public opinion online. The veins on Father Q's temple throbbed. Mother Xiao still wanted to speak. Principal, you can't be biased toward the top scorer, can you? The principal looked at her coldly. Ma'am, by spreading students' private information and false claims without factual basis, the school also reserves the right to hold you accountable. Shirao's mother fell silent. Father Q wrote a clarification statement. Every word seemed squeezed out from between clenched teeth due to emotional distress over my daughter's grade review. And based on my own speculation, I submitted a report regarding the alleged abnormality in classmate Shin Zioen's handwriting. I now state that I have no direct evidence. My previous remarks in the parents' group, such as saying the scores could not withstand scrutiny, were inaccurate and caused negative impact. I apologize to classmates Shin Zioen and their parents. He signed and pressed his fingerprint. I didn't take it. Attorneys took it over and photographed it for record. It also needs to be posted in the parent group. Father Qin suddenly looked up. Don't go too far. My mother's voice was extremely hoarse when you were slandering my daughter in the group. Why didn't you think that was excessive? Father Q's face twitched. He opened the parents' group chat and took a photo of the explanation to send it out. The group fell silent for a few seconds. Then it exploded. So, it really was Qin Yu's dad who reported it. No evidence. And he still reported it. Then, what was yesterday's abuse directed at Shinoen? Where's Xiaoming's mother? Didn't you say you saw the top? Scores family bullying people with your own eyes. Xiao's mother could no longer keep her face and pulled her cousin away. When they reached the doorway, Su Yanhao suddenly said, Wait. Everyone looked at him. Su Yanhao raised his phone. The last 4 digits of the phone number linked to the forum posting account are the same as Aunt Xiao's phone number. Aunt Xiao froze on the doorstep. 10. Aunt Xiao's face turned purple with rage. Are you checking up on me? Su Yanji's expression remained impassive. The forum's personal homepage displays it automatically. Zhao's mother was still about to scold him, but Lawyer Sun had already spoken. Please do not delete the account or the post. They will be preserved as evidence for future use. This sentence left her speechless. The principal asked the security guards to clear away the onlookers. The office finally fell silent. The admissions office sent an official response this afternoon. My score review was correct. 699, not a single point lost. The handwriting verification is also moving forward in parallel. Teacher Zhao provided my 3 years of essays, mock exam answer sheets, and handwritten competition drafts. After expert review and comparison, it was determined that there were no abnormalities. The results would be issued as early as the next day. Qin Yu's recheck result also came out that afternoon. On the same day, 697 correct. When the text message arrived, she was sitting in the corner of the office. Her phone chimed once. After reading it, she felt completely drained. Father Q leaned over. His expression instantly turned ugly. Director Wang asked the result. Qin Yu said softly, It hasn't changed. No one said anything. She suddenly looked up at me. Wan, are you satisfied now? I looked at her. Your grades haven't changed. What does that have to do with whether I'm satisfied or not? Qin Yu's eyes turned completely red. If you had been willing to stay with me yesterday, my dad wouldn't have been this anxious. Father Q's expression changed. Yo-yo. She acted as if she hadn't heard. You clearly know I've been afraid of losing to you ever since we were little. Every time there was an exam, you'd say it was fine. But did you always look down on me in your heart? Everyone in the office froze. This was the first time she had said her jealousy out loud. I only said one thing. Chinyu. Because you're afraid of losing. Does that mean you can drag me down with you? She shook her head while crying. I didn't mean to get you into trouble. Su Yenha suddenly asked. Then why did you ask me for Shenzia's old essay last night? Chin Yu fell silent. Father Q's face gradually darkened. Yu, what exactly did you say to me? Her face turned deathly pale. Dad, I only said that Wan's Chinese score this time was strangely high. Father Q stared at her. You said her essay handwriting didn't look like her usual one. Chin Yu's tears stopped. That sentence came from her own biological father. Tearing down her story, my mom covered her mouth, her eyes full of lingering fear. Chin's father seemed to finally realize that he had been shoved forward by his daughter, and his voice turned harsh. You cried in the car last night and said that Shinjia had suddenly made a recording, so she must be feeling guilty. You also said she had borrowed your lucky pen before the college entrance exam, so her handwriting might have changed. You even said that if we didn't investigate now, no one would believe you later. Chinyu screamed. Dad! Everyone in the room looked at her. A lucky pen. I remember the day before the college entrance exam. Chinyu gave me a black signature pen. She said it was her lucky pen that she had used for 3 years, and wished me to come first in the exam. I didn't use it, because I'm used to using my own pen. In my previous life, I didn't use it either. In the report, if it says that my college entrance exam handwriting doesn't match my usual handwriting, it doesn't actually need to be a real mismatch. It just needs to buy time. Chin Yu cried as she backed away. I was just saying it casually. I didn't tell you to report it. Father Q was so angry that his hands trembled. You didn't tell me to report it. You even sent me the material template. At this point, even the principal raised his head. All the color drained from Chin Yu's face. She instinctively reached for Father Q's phone. Father Q was faster than her, and gripped the phone tightly. You still want to delete it? The father and daughter stood locked in a standoff in the office. Director Wang said sternly, Mr. Qin, hand over the phone to the lawyer and the school for inspection. This concerns the rights and interests of a student. Qin's father panted heavily. I'll hand it over. Qin Yu lunged over. No. The moment her hand touched the phone, Su Yanzhou blocked her in the middle. The phone crashed to the ground. The screen lit up. In the chat box, a document preview clearly displayed the title, Grade Review, an anomaly report template, Zenda, Chinyu. 11. The truth was torn open at that moment. Chinyu collapsed onto the ground. Chin's father also seemed as if he had been slapped. He had always thought he was standing up for his daughter. In the end, he was just the stupidest blade in his daughter's hand. The document was exported. The timeline was crystal clear. 2 hours before the score check, Chin Yu had already sent the template to Chin Fu. After the results came out, she added another line. If I score lower than 1-1, then make the changes according to this. No one in the office said a word. Even Teacher Ho's eyes reddened. He looked at Chin Yu, his voice hoarse. Yu, do you know this will ruin a classmate? Chin Yu was trembling from crying. I didn't mean to ruin her. I just wanted her to wait for me. 2. The absurdity of that sentence was chilling. She wasn't unaware of the consequences. She simply felt that as long as I stopped, she wouldn't count as the loser. The principal immediately decided to report the situation to the education authorities and issue a school-wide public criticism of Chin Yu. Father Q still wanted to plead for mercy. She still has to fill out her college application choices. She can't have a disciplinary record. The principal's face remained cold. Is she an adult? No. But she has already taken the college entrance exam, and she knows what reporting someone means, and what spreading rumors means. The school issued a formal criticism not to take on the legal consequences for her. Attorneys also submitted the police report materials. The police came to the school to take statements. Jiao's mother, the girl who made the post, Chin's father, and Chin Yu were all required to cooperate with the investigation, because my voluntary rights were not actually deprived. The police first mediated the matter based on defamation and online rumor-mongering, and preserved evidence while also informing us that we could file a civil lawsuit. This time I did not back down. Apologize, delete the post, issue a clarification, and compensate. Not a single one can be omitted. In the evening, 3 apologies popped up in the parents' group chat in a row. Xin's father's, Zhao's mother's. The girl who made the post's parents before the forum post was deleted. The clarification statement was pinned for 2 hours. The title was glaringly eye-catching. Clarification. An apology regarding false information about the dispute over Shenzia's grades. The tone in the comment section then reversed. 699 is really impressive. The Qin family really can't take losing. Just 2 points short of sabotaging someone's college application choices. Disgusting. Shenzia's mom was photographed crying yesterday. Just thinking about it is suffocating. At the entrance of a small shop, the people who had originally taken a detour came back again. Someone awkwardly smiled while buying water. Lao Shun, we misunderstood you yesterday. My dad didn't smile. What are you buying? The other person's face stiffened, and they took 2 bottles of mineral water, paid, and left. That evening, Shirao's mother came with a bag of fruit to apologize. My mom didn't let her in. She stood at the doorway, a smile plastered on her face. Sister, it was all my big mouth. Don't take it to heart. The kids still have to be classmates. My mom looked at her. If your daughter were photographed like that and posted online, could you really not take it to heart? Mother Xiao couldn't force a smile anymore. My dad pushed the fruit back. We've received your apology. Take your things and go. Don't come to my house to buy anything again. Several neighbors gathered at the doorway. Mrs. Xiao's face turned a mix of pale and livid, and in the end, she left sullenly, carrying the fruit. That night, I sat in front of the computer filling out my application preferences. Tsinghua University, Peking University, Fudan, and Xiaotong. I checked each code 3 times. My dad stood beside me and read aloud. My mom used a pen to mark the paper when the submit button lit up. My hand paused for a second. In my previous life, I logged into the system on a computer at the nurse's station in the hospital corridor. The page shows that the application submission period has ended. That emptiness felt as if someone had cut my life in 2 this time. I pressed submit. System prompt. Volunteer preferences submitted successfully. My mom cried. My dad turned away and wiped his eyes. The phone vibrated on the table. Qin Yu sent a message. 1. I know I was wrong. Can you withdraw the charges against me? I really can't afford to have a stain on my record. I look at the screen. She sent another message. We've been friends for so many years. Are you really going to force me to death? I didn't reply. The next second, she called. When the ringtone sounded for the 3rd time, I answered and started recording on the phone. Qin Yu was crying so hard it was heartbreaking. Shenzia 1. What exactly do you want me to do? 12. Apologize publicly. I said. The other end of the line fell silent. A few seconds later, her voice turned shrill. I've already been publicly criticized. You're still not satisfied. I want you to explain in the class group chat that it was you who prepared the template in advance and manipulated your dad into reporting me. Qin Yu's breathing grew ragged. Then what am I supposed to do in the future? When you did it, did you ever think about what would happen to me afterward? Her crying came to an abrupt stop soon. She lowered her voice. 1. As long as you let me go, I can give you the Peking University Medical School spot. I almost laughed. Admission isn't your family's fruit to hand out. Qin Yu broke down. But I have nothing left. You still have 697. You reminded her. That's a score many people dream of. She shrieked. But I lost to you. This sentence finally tore away all her pretenses. I hung up the phone and sent the recording to attorney. The next morning, Qin Yu apologized in the class group chat. She wrote a very long statement, but every sentence danced around the main issue. Due to personal emotional loss of control, I caused distress to classmate Shinoan. I failed to promptly stop the inappropriate behavior of my parent. I hope everyone will stop spreading this further. I sent the line from the recording, but I lost to you into the group chat. The group fell silent again. Su Yanhao was the first to reply. Please clearly state the source of the template. Teacher Zhao also sent a message. Chinyu. The explanation required by the school is not an emotional expression. 10 minutes later, Chinyu sent it again. This time, she made it clear. She was the one who found the template. She was the one who pointed out the unusual handwriting. Looking for photos of the essay in advance was to make the report look more credible. She admitted that out of jealousy and unwillingness to accept it, she had done something wrong after she sent that message. No one in the group comforted her. Those who had once gathered around her, saying, "You is so pitiful," all fell silent. 2 days later, the admissions office issued its final conclusion. My answer sheet handwriting was normal, and the score is valid. On the same day, the Municipal Education Bureau issued a reminder. Score reviews should be conducted in accordance with the law and regulations. False allegations based on fabricated facts are not allowed, nor may they interfere with candidates' college application choices. No names were named, but everyone at school knew who was being talked about. In the end, Chinyu did not make it into Jing University's medical program, which had been her first choice. It wasn't because a formal reprimand automatically revoked her eligibility. It was because she completely broke down while filling out her preferences. The first 2 choices were too ambitious, and she was unwilling to fill in any safer schools later on. So in the end, she was admitted to a decent but not top-tier medical university. Father Q remained silent in the parents' group for a long time later. It was said that, because he also liked to use similar tactics to suppress coworkers within the company, complaints from a few years ago were dug up, and his chance for promotion was gone. The Xiao family's home was even livelier. The rumor she spread online eventually made its way to Xiao's. Cramming was so angry that he had a huge fight with her, saying she had made him too embarrassed to face his classmates. None of that had anything to do with me anymore. The day the admission letter arrived, 2 strings of firecrackers were set off at the entrance of the small shop. China. My mom held the acceptance letter in her hands and looked it over again and again. There were even more people coming to buy things than before. Some sincerely offered congratulations while others smiled apologetically and said they had misunderstood before. My dad still said the same thing. "What are you buying?" That summer the wind chimes at the little store rang many times. Su Yanzhou came to see me carrying a bag of oranges. He had also received an admission letter from Tsinghua University, though for a different major. Standing by the shelf, he looked a little uneasy. "Shenzia want to go together on the first day of school." My mom peeked at me, secretly from behind the counter. I took the orange. Okay. Before the start of September, I replaced the old signboard at the entrance of the little store. The new signboard still had the same name, Wanja General Store. My dad said that when doing business, you have to value regular customers and can't make changes casually. My mom laminated a copy of my admission letter and taped it behind the counter. On the first day of school, the station was packed. I dragged my suitcase along, and Su Yanha was waiting for me at the ticket gate. My phone suddenly vibrated in the class group. Teacher Zhao sent a photo. The senior year classroom was empty. There were still words written on the blackboard before graduation. A bright and promising future. Below that, Teacher Ho sent again. "Students, life is long ahead. Holding fast to your principles is more important than winning a single exam." After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comment section.